Before I get to today's episode, I just want to do a quick announcement. With so many events going on this summer, the Connecticut Scoreboard Podcast wants to help you save money on tickets. Baseball, concerts, whatever you're looking for, SeatGeek has you covered. Listeners of the Connecticut Scoreboard Podcast get $20 off their first ticket purchase with code CT Scoreboard Pod at checkout. I'll put the link to SeatGeek in the description here so you can download the app and save some money this summer when you're heading out to an event. Again, code CT Scoreboard Pod at SeatGeek, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. And now to today's episode. All right. Whenever you hear Nathan Grube coming on the podcast, you know it's getting nice out. Summer's almost here, and we're going to kick summer off with the Travelers Championship like we always do. So Nathan, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here. To your point, it's when people look, they see us coming, they're like, "Wait, it's got to be getting warm soon." I know it's getting warm soon, so it's always nice to represent that.
Yeah, well, Nathan, always excited to have you on the podcast. You've been on for a number of times here as we get ready for the Travelers Championship. What year is this now for you doing the Travelers Championship?
Oh man, this is our 18th year with the Travelers Championship,
Wow.
20th tournament for me. There was a couple obviously with Buick before Travelers came in, but I mean I had been here maybe 6, 8 months, and then Travelers came in kind of the year before Buick left. So I've been working with Andy Bissett and that team for probably 19 years. But this is
Wow.
yeah, I can't believe how quickly it's gone. But this is the 18th year of the Travelers Championship.
That's crazy. I feel like the golf world has changed a lot since you started, what was it, 2020 Travelers or Buick at that time ago. What's been the
Yes.
biggest change from, how things have come together as you're putting together these tournaments from when you started to where it is right now?
Well, one of the things that's changed is some of the guys that are some of the top ranked players in the world weren't even born when I started. So that makes you feel really old right out of the gate. But yeah, no, I mean, the golf world, my goodness, it's evolved, it's morphed, it's changed, it's gotten. I mean, when you look at the season, when you look at the money, when you look at the television contracts, when you look at, kind of what motivates the guys to play, how they have to figure out their schedules. There's so many things, but I would say, I mean, even everything with Live and overseas and the merger of the European Tour and the PGA Tour,
Yeah.
and then you have Live, and so there's so many things. But I would say that one thing that has stayed constant is since I've been, the last 20 years, is that people want to get on the PGA Tour. It's an aspirational place to get, right? Whether you're on the DP World Tour, you're trying to earn enough points to get to the tour. Whether if you're on the Corn Fair, you're trying to get to the PGA Tour. And even it's very interesting, even with everything going on right now with Live and the guys, some of the guys signed with them, and they still are trying, listen to what they're saying. They are trying to get back to the PGA Tour, right? We need a merger. We need to figure out how to come, to
Yeah.
bring golf back together. Like people still want to be on the PGA Tour. You saw Bryson compete and what he did. Like he misses that, right? He misses playing in front of I mean, Live is different. I mean, it's not bad, right, wrong, and different. It's just different. And but the PGA Tour, I mean, consistently has been over the last 20 years, someplace that the best players in the world are trying to get to. And it has stayed that, right? I mean, now the path to getting there has changed a lot over the last 2 decades, but it's someplace that the guys want to be and that the best players in the world want to be for all the right reasons, I think. So, but yeah, it's if you start going down from that and you start details of the purse sizes, the charitable contributions, the how competitive the athletes are getting, how good these younger players are coming out. I mean, these high school kids that you're seeing qualifying for tour events now at 15, 16 years old, and just the level of competition. And you get a guy like Gordon Sargent who's hitting it 25 yards past Rory, and Rory's going, how does that guy hit it so far? I mean, they're like, there's so many
Yeah.
differences, but it has definitely been an entertaining few years in professional golf, I would say.
I know watching the PGA championship the other day and watching a guy like Bryson hit like a gap wedge 150 yards. I'm like, I don't know how he does it. I know you mentioned some of ways golf has split with the Live. Now, I know that the Travelers Championship in particular always did a great job of staying in touch with the players, talking with them. Do you keep in touch with some of these guys who have already, gone on to the Live Tour just in maintaining those relationships?
100%. In fact, funny story that when, oh gosh, this goes back, I guess, a year ago when Jay Monahan and the PIF were in that news conference, and they said, "Hey, there's going to be an agreement. We're going to figure out how to bring everybody back." One of the first notes I got was from Bubba Watson, where he said, "Hey, does that mean you can give me an exemption now to play?" And so I mean, Bubba's a great guy. Obviously, we have a special history with him. But then even at we go out and we talk to guys. We saw those guys at Augusta and the various places that they play, and very friendly. How is the family? How's the kids? How are things going? Keeping personal relationships with them is vital. That's what we did for 20 years. Is or 18 years. Had relationships with those guys. So none of that changed. As far as we still stay in touch and. Who knows where things are going to go in the future, but we still stay, still absolutely stay in touch with those guys.
So looking at the tournament last year, first year that the tournament was raised to an elevated event, which brought some cool things to it. How do you think last year's tournament went, and kind of some lessons learned from that as you're looking to this year?
Well, it was awesome, first of all, that Travelers made that commitment to be, at the time what they were called last year was elevated events, and they're called signature events this year. But basically, it is the events that the PGA Tour is trying to set up, getting the best players in the world together for the fans and for television, and for the players to compete against the best players in the world more often. That was one of the, things when there was a lot of, introspection on the PGA Tour, like how can we make our product better? A few years ago, it was like, well, we want to get the best players in the world together more often. How do we do that? And these elevated / signature events came. And so when they said, when Travelers made the financial commitment to be a elevated event in 2023, we all took that as kind of an audition to
Yeah.
say like, hey, we're auditioning for, hey, can our market size handle being one of the biggest and best events on tour? We always thought we were. We were always very proud of our event, proud of our product. I think you could walk around the grounds for 5 minutes and realize how much pride people have in this event, from the volunteers to the sponsors. And we feel like we have something special here, and we feel like that stage of being an elevated event last year gave us the ability to showcase that to a lot of new people. And they looked at that and said, okay, you guys took this seriously. You elevated, I have air quotes for those listening, you elevated everything about the tournament. And so then when they announced the signature events for 2024, Travelers said, look, we felt like we did it great in 23. We want to do it. This is who we want to be from here on out. And they're the only, if I'm not mistaken, they're the only title who is committed to be a signature event through 2030. I mean, a few of the others, like 1 year, 2 year deals, I think. But Travelers said, no, 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 we want to be through 2030. So they made a long-term commitment to this community and to the players, their families, to be one of the best events on tour for the next, 7 years. So it's something we take seriously, but we feel like we try to earn it every year. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we want to earn it. We like nobody is, it could be taken away as quickly as it was given to us, So we want to make sure that we earn it.
Yeah, and I know last year coming out of the tournament, some comments made about the course and some possible changes to be made. How do you take that? How do you take that player feedback into consideration as you're planning for future tournaments here?
Sure. Well, I will say this. It's one thing we have done is we've always asked the guys. I mean, Andy Bissett with Travelers and we are constantly asking for feedback, right? Like we want to know what people think. How do we make things better? How do we make any experience, food and beverage and transportation? And like we're always poking, asking for
Mhm.
things. And so when Rory made those comments on Sunday, I think it was Sunday night of tournament week, like we always ask for feedback. We don't want a guy like walking away thinking something and us not know if it's something we could work on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when we talk to Rory post event, like, hey, what did you mean by your comments? Because you said something, it was very definitive. It was a short statement. Like what, like, do you not like this golf course? What's going on? And he said, no, 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 I love the golf course. And he said, I am trying to, he is part of a lot of conversations in the golf world, right? Like, and there was a very big conversation going on around equipment. And ball, should the ball be limited? Should there be a limit to club face technology and how far a ball goes? And, there's a big equipment discussion
Yep.
going on in the golf industry. And Rory has some feelings on equipment that other players might not have. And he basically, when you spend some time with him, he said if his comment was, if we're not doing something about equipment, golf courses like this will potentially become obsolete. And it was kind of in that narrative because
Okay.
he was the first one when we said, yeah, people basically thought you didn't like the golf. He was like, no, 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 no. And so like he was one of the first ones to commit for
Yeah.
24. He's like, no, 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 I'm coming. Like I like this golf course. I like this tournament. But it gave us a chance to work with the PGA Tour like we've done, honestly, like we've done every year for the last 18 years. Are there any minor tweaks that we can make to the facility to actually get better? And you go back, I mean, the practice facility we had a new practice facility that was built because of feedback like
Yeah.
this. They put in a new irrigation system to be able to grow rough in different areas to make the course more challenging years ago. They did a whole big bunker project that they renovated the bunkers at TPC because they were starting to not feel the quality that they wanted them to feel, right? They wanted to be consistent. They wanted them to not, they wanted them to be championship level bunkers. They put a new tee box on 17 a few years ago, to kind of change the sight line and the angles of that tee shot. So
Yeah.
they are always, kind of tweaking some things. So this year, when after those comments, we kind of went through the same process we've always been through. What are guys saying about the golf course? Blah blah blah. And the tweaks were incredibly minor. And I would say 99 out of 100 amateurs wouldn't even notice it. They pitched the 9 tee box back into the right a little bit so
Okay.
that the guys couldn't drive over the houses.
Oh, yeah.
They took off kind of a back little section of the ninth green to where you kind of have to be a little more dialed in on the size of the green for that length of approach shot. They took out a part of the green on 11 for that short par three going down the
Yeah.
hill that just the green was almost too big for that short of a shot. So they kind of changed it to make the guys think. They grew some extra rough on 12. They narrowed the fairway on 6. So there was like just some things that would just make the guys think a little bit
Mhm.
that might make a half a shot difference over 2 days,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, it's going to be minor, but it also we talked about all those changes with the guys in the PGA Tour rules team that ultimately makes these decisions. They talk to the players about it as well. They're like, "Hey, we want to tweak it." It was funny. Almost every single player was like, "Please do not mess up that golf course. Please do not mess up that golf course." And the guy and the rules official was like, "No, no, we're not going to. We're just going to, continually tweak." So yeah, that's a long-winded answer to your question of I
Yeah.
think the pros will notice a few of the changes. But it's been something that's been happening over the last 17, 18 years.
No, it's exactly what I was looking for in that answer there, just to kind of get a little inside golf there and kind of see how that feedback that some of these players had
Hmm.
say comes into fruition. What less than a year later?
Yeah.
It's cool to see how reactive you could be to that feedback. I'm going to take a quick break from the interview to tell you about my friends at Martin Rosol's Meats. This fourth generation Connecticut family business produces kielbasa, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats using Martin Rosol's very own original recipes. Their products can be found in grocery stores, delis, restaurants, and hot dog stands throughout the state. If you're looking for your fill right away, check out their retail store in New Britain. For more information, visit martinroselsinc.com and go support a Yukon fan-owned business. And now, back to the interview. Looking back at just the past few years, I mean, it seems like it's just been a crazy few years. You had the COVID tournament with no fans,
Oh
then
my goodness.
getting back into things. Then you've got Live, first year as an elevated event. Just what have the
Hmm.
past 4 years been like for you in terms of preparing for a tournament? Because it seems like it's been relatively different each of the past few years.
So, since this is a podcast, you can't see it, but the amount of gray hair that I've gotten over the years has definitely grown the last 4 years. No, to your point, I mean, COVID was the most surreal experience to put on a sporting event I've ever been a part of in my entire life, and then there was that, and then how quickly can you come out of that, right? Like how quickly can you get fans back, and how quickly. So like 21 was like a step towards it.
Yeah,
22, we weren't even totally back in 22. I would say 23 was the first year that we were completely back, crowds
yeah,
100%, no restrictions on anything. So last year was kind of a very emotional and special year that it was like, hey, we're full go, and we were an elevated event. And then this year, I mean, we're trying to continually push and push to be better and better. Like there's 8 signature events. And we want to do everything we can to kind of like carve ourselves out to be like, oh my gosh, they did it so unique
Yeah.
as a signature event. So there's a few things that we're doing. We're building this year for the first time a whole practice facility experience for the fans. We're
Oh,
putting TrackMan behind all the pros hitting areas to where every shot is going to be traced, and we have a huge video board down there that we've put on the range that the fans can watch
oh,
and
cool.
actually see all the shot trace. We're building bleachers down there again for the fans. Um, that is going to be just like an immersive experience that the players just or that the fans have not gotten
Yeah.
before, so they're going to notice that right away. We moved some things around at the entrance. We have 5 venues again this year that are free, open to the fans, open to the public. That your general admission ticket can get you into these basically private hospitality venues for the general fan, air conditioning, climate controlled, shade, place to relax. The fan zone, we reconfigured the fan zone for more stuff for people to do down there during the day for families. We made sure that we kept our commitment to kids 15 and under for free. They get into the tournament all week. Our commitments to just younger fans, making sure that we knock down any barriers to kids coming out, and then also making this, very affordable for families to be able to attend. We think it's a special event that you can come to with your family, and we want to make sure that people can do that. So I think when people walk on property, they're going to notice a big difference right away to kind of what this quote unquote signature feeling is. We have we're doing a new food truck area, food trucks on 5, we're calling it, out on the
Oh,
5th hole, which is it's going to be a fun little experience. We're actually doing a pizza restaurant on the back lawn behind the clubhouse. We have a big brick oven pizza that we'll be doing
wow.
individual pizzas for people that they can sit out there. So we're trying to just continually feel, like we're raising the bar. If the fans are going to invest in us, we want them to feel like we're investing in them.
Yeah, you stole one of my questions. So I was gonna say last year when we did this,
Oh,
you blew my mind with the chicken tender edition. I was gonna say, what food are you gonna blow my mind with this year? Now I got pizza, food trucks. It seems like it's gonna be a good time out there.
oh man, we got ice cream sandwiches that we have a special ice cream sandwich that they're making for us this year for the tournament
Oh,
called the Chip Shot, which I'm super excited about. Mint chocolate chip ice cream cookie sandwich that'll be out there on 5. Yeah, and then the pizza oven on the brick pizza oven
yeah.
on the back lawn is gonna be a lot of fun. Just kind of made to order individual pizzas, and you can sit and just kind of enjoy the day.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. I'm already getting more excited to get out there.
Yeah,
We'll move on from talking about the food to the players coming. I know you've already
yeah.
got a great group committed so far. For those tuning in who might not be as familiar, give us just a little bit of a preview of who you can see out there this year at the tournament so far.
Well, I have no I will say this, if I have no problem saying this, your favorite player who's on the PGA Tour will be here. I mean, as a signature event, all the guys are coming. We've already announced Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy and Cantlay and Victor Hovland and those guys. But then you look at our past champions
Yeah,
who, just go down the list of past champions that have played here before, from Xander, what he just did in the PGA. We've had some great, Harris and Jordan. I mean, some awesome champions that I fully anticipate all of our past champions, that are on the PGA Tour being here. And so, when you look at the top 50 in the world, and you the guys that are eligible to play
yeah,
on our tour, all of them are going to be here. And so to say that to our fans, and here's the cool part about it is there's no cut.
that's good. Yeah, I was
Like
gonna say that.
basically, we're one of, I want to say, maybe 3 events that don't have a cut. Maybe 4. I got to think through it because I think Pebble doesn't, but I know Memorial has a small one. And so anyway, but basically you are guaranteed to see your favorite player 4 days here.
Yeah.
And we couldn't always say that, Jared.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, hey, come out Thursday, Friday, and like, because you're not sure who's going to be here on the weekend. And the fact that we can tell our fans your favorite players will be here all 4 days is like unheard of.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's like the old World Golf Championship events when they used to do those.
Yeah.
And like, this is kind of the new iteration of that. So, um, that is something for the fans that I'm so excited about, that they're going to see everybody, and it's going to be a great 4 days.
Yeah. How are you dealing with it? Because it's a little bit more of a condensed field for this one this year, right? Is that how,
Hmm.
how it's working
It
with these
is.
events?
It is. So basically it's, I mean, call it roughly 75 guys, and
Okay.
that's usually what it was for the cut, right? So like
No.
our tournament used to be Thursday, Friday, we'd have 156. You'd play Thursday, Friday, and the top 75 guys would play Saturday, Sunday. So basically what this is the cut was made before our event to get into this tournament.
Yeah.
So then you basically have kind of that Saturday, Sunday feel. You have that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's kind of the best way we can describe it is the guys had to fight hard to get into these signature events. So the
Yeah.
cut was kind of made beforehand. And so, yeah, it's basically like a weekend, all 4 days.
Yeah, no, that's it's gonna be awesome. I know everyone's really looking forward to being out there between the golf, the food. Sounds like it's gonna be
Hmm.
a lot of fun. And as always, I want to close with this one because this tournament does so much for the community. Just take us through some of the efforts, that this tournament brings to this area and to the state.
I mean, Jared, it's what honestly, it's what motivates us to work so hard is that at the end of the day, when you see the charities that are impacted by the event. And when you see last year, it was a little over $3 million that the tournament pushed out to our community. And when you meet the charities and you meet the people that are impacted by the work they're doing in the community, like it puts everything into perspective. I mean, basically, we have this PGA Tour event, and if we run it well, and if we run it like a business, and if we run it like a very profitable business, what happens is those profits go back to charity. So, I mean, that is something that makes us work super hard. It makes us cut expenses. It makes us, like, how do we save a dollar here? How do we do this? Because we know that that's going to get pushed straight back out. So, I mean, last year it was close to 180 charities that benefited from the tournament. We anticipate that being at least that many this year. We anticipate breaking our charitable record from last year. Um, and just honestly, to be a part of an event that is changing lives in our community by the people that are being served through all those charities. I mean, they're the ones doing all the hard work, from food insecurity to mental health help for people to military support charities to, I mean, there's so many charities that take the resources that we're able to provide and just change our communities. It's cool to be part of that story, and it motivates you to work hard to do your job as well as you can so that those charities can benefit.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, I really appreciate you taking some time as I know it's really busy for you, especially as we've got just about a month until the tournament. So,
Well, I mean, it's 27 days, but we're going to start counting hours here in a minute for sure. So
well, Nathan, again, thank you so much. Hope to see everybody out at the Travelers Championship this year. I know that tickets are on sale. Go grab them, and it's going to be a good time.
thanks, Jared. Thanks for the time. Hope to see you soon.
We'll see you soon.